Hey, how's it going? Mr. Bill here today, and today I wanted to talk to you about this project file for this tune that me and Encanti just released called Pay Attention, but it's written $ATTN. And this was a part of Corrective Scene Surgery. It's part number 8. And we're making the project file available for you so you can kind of see how we made everything. So there'll be a link in the description of this video. And then basically you go get the project file, and then there's 3 ALS files within the project file. The one that you're looking at now is called native, and what that means is that it's everything is Ableton native. It's not using any third-party stuff except for this stuff on the master, which doesn't really matter because it's just turned off anyway. And this basically means with just native Ableton live point 9.6, I think, 9.6, you'll be able to just open this and it will work. And this is the final version of our tune. So usually what happens when I'm towards the end of a tune is I'll render everything into stems and then I'll kind of edit stuff. So you can see I've got like the sub channel rendered down. This is also the sub channel rendered, just like messing, like filtering it and looping it and doing all sorts of stuff. This is sub effects and mid bass, other mids, just like, a bunch of different stems. I usually leave my drums separated for the most part. But in this case, you can see these ones have been rendered down just because they had third-party plugins in them, or on them rather. And I wanted to make sure that you could play them. So yeah, this is the native version. It's basically a bunch of stems and a bunch of, separated drums, and you can go through and have a listen to all of them if you like. But then you get these other versions. So the plugins version, if we open that, no, don't save. So the plugins version is the same as the native version, except none of the third-party stuff is rendered. So this is our final version, but you can see that there's like all sorts of third-party plugins on everything. A couple of things are frozen, but yeah, for the most part, there's nothing is like rendered the same way that it was in the native version. But then you get this version called pre-stemming, and this was the version, so this isn't the final version, this is the version like just before we stemmed everything out. So this is like the monster project file, which will have like all of your plugins, like everything will still be kind of in MIDI and less rendered than these plugins in native versions, which is our final version, because that's like our final cuts and edits. But the price that you pay for that is that you can't really see how we made any of the sounds. So if my live starts responding, we'll be able to see the pre-stemmed version. So see, I didn't even have Altiverb 7, so that's a plugin that I guess Encanti had. So this version is much bigger and less rendered, and this is the version that you'll probably learn the most from, because this is where nothing has been stemmed so much, everything's more separated, and a lot of things are still in MIDI, I believe. Actually, a lot of this has been rendered anyway. Well, this is in Zeta, I guess. But you can kind of hear that the mix isn't quite right, and it's not exactly the same as our final version. So yeah, this is like a perfect thing if you're trying to reverse engineer a project and just kind of see how everything's done. Yeah, it's really good for that sort of stuff. You can see how we made our sub. It's pretty easy actually. Our sub was just somewhere between a sine and a triangle, and then a bit of teletube on it to kind of fatten it up a little bit. So there's a bunch of Encanti stuff, and then we got this twerk section over here. So some of the coolest things in this project file, I think, are these, where is it? If you go back here, there's these really crazy synths. These synths here, I think, are like some of the craziest synth patches that I've ever made in Zebbler. And if you, so when you move around this this macro, which is set to the cutoff, kind of makes it sound all bent and weird. And I'm just kind of subtly doing that. Same with this. So you can go through and see how all those patches are made. Basically, it's just like an arpeggiator patch. And I'm using the art mod to send a bunch of stuff to it. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. So yeah, anyway, I'll put a link in the video description. If you want to go get this project file, go get it. If you don't, then whatever. Hopefully you learned something from watching this video anyway. And yeah, cheers. Have a good day.